It's your boy Prod in this video right now. Okay, we are live. Yes, we are live. So what is
right now?
So what is up, Billy? You just chilling over there like a boss?
Yes, I am.
It's not time for you to.
And I am still going by calling it the next box. Yes, they will be dumb and call it probably the second. But if they call it the next box, that would be kind of cool in its own dumb way. But it would be, but it would be different because PlayStation continued with numbers by calling PlayStation 4 or the next PlayStation 4. So Xbox going in the same route, adding of numbers.
Announced
Yeah, okay, but Xbox.
What do
Xbox.
The Xbox 7 PS4.
I think
Similar.
wise, they're gonna be very similar. Similar, whatever. Previous talks, we just Xbox. I know Xbox has its loyalty, just like PlayStation has its loyalty. I'm not particularly loyal to. I like parts of Xbox. I like parts of PlayStation. Currently 360 guy, or I'm only a PS3 guy. But I think if definitely beat PlayStation on what PlayStation announced and what they want to do, planning on doing, and this and that. You know, PlayStation did put like a little touchscreen thing on their controller. So the next box or whatever, PlayStation controller, controller for Xbox would need, I think they would want to do that same route. Put either like a little touchscreen or something on their controller to compete with that. Because it seems to be the route to go is touchscreen. And the second thing, like I said, many times before, now that PlayStation is saying they want to integrate Vita with the 4, with PS4, integrate the Vita so that it's like the second screen experience is what these companies.
Do you ever? Yeah. So
Microsoft needs to do it too, and they need to. Because you have Wii U, which, yes, Wii U is considered next gen, even though around the same as PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 currently. But the one thing, having that big bulbous controller with a touchscreen on it and all that stuff, and to integrate the Vita with the next PlayStation, Microsoft will need to do that. Or utilize current devices, take their phones, their Windows phone, the Apple products of the iPhones, iPads, iPod, and somehow run stuff on it like that, not just a friend's app. And yeah, that's to compete that type-wise. Games-wise, that's always a crapshoot because PlayStation has their own types of games that that's why they like PlayStation. Microsoft has their own types of games that's why people like Microsoft. And then they have the conjoined games, where you can buy your Black Ops on here or you can buy your Black Ops on there. It doesn't. It's personal preference is what it all will boil down to.
say to be compatible with the supposed Xbox 720.
That would be a big bombshell if they did do that. And I know, even back when the original Xbox came out, they've been talking, Microsoft has always hinted or mentioned, or it's always been in talks. Like, I've seen it on the TV shows, I've seen it on the internet, I've heard it on rumor sites, everything, they've always talked about trying to do a handheld game system, but then you always have some wanting to deny those. That would be nice, but we're not focusing on that. We're just focusing on console. Maybe that's the way to getting. Oh yeah, we're not going to make a handheld, and this whole entire time is a big secret. They've been for Microsoft for Xbox. I'm sure if they did. Okay. PlayStation's coming out with a system this year, so are we. And they are saying the Vita could do gaming with the system. Well, here is the whatever, blah blah blah. They pull out something like the Vita, and they're like, "Here, you could use this on our system." It'd be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see if they did that, but I don't know.
You can say, I have a feeling with them doing that, Xbox kind of has the upper hand, because I feel like they could possibly take the route of what the Steam box is doing and put some harder core, hardly advance their hardware and just put in a brand new graphics card, some new RAM, and all that in there.
Well, there's always the one-upsmanship. Like, look at it going as far back as when it was the three other systems, when it was Sony, Sega, Nintendo competing. Now that Sega's just a game maker and not a system maker anymore. Microsoft took their spot as the third company in that mix. And, Sony came out with PlayStation 1. And then, or maybe Saturn, I'm trying to remember. Maybe Saturn came out first. Not 100% sure. But one of those two came out first. And then whoever, I think Saturn may have come out first, because when Sony came out, I think that was part of their ads. We're like, oh, well, we're more of the grown-up machine, and we can do this and this and this. Where Saturn was still, I think, whatever, and Sega wanted to just be loyal to the Sega people. And then Nintendo's like, well, we're not even going to go the 32-bit route. We're going right to the 64-bit route. And boom, Nintendo 64 came out. So, and you could try and say, well, Nintendo tried to one-up those two. So I could see Microsoft trying to. They're definitely going to one-up the Wii U. Like, this whole discussion, the Wii U doesn't count. And then Nintendo, as much as if there is a system or a company that I could say I'm loyal to, because I have either owned or have played from being a little kid up to the age of now, is Nintendo. But then again, I've owned every Microsoft system and I've owned every PlayStation, but shit, Nintendo's been around longer, so that's the only reason why I'm saying that. But Microsoft, they could say that, like, okay, Sony says they're going to do 8 gigs of that, GDR5 RAM or whatever they're calling it. We'll do 10 gigs or 12 gigs. They'll just up it a little bit more. Oh, they want to use this type of processor? Well, we'll just use a little bit higher of a processor. Like, they could do that. I can see them doing that. But what will it cost? Shipwreck. That's the big issue. Like, there's already the rumors of what's PlayStation 4 going to cost. I've heard as low as like $450, 400-ish range. I've heard all the way up to almost $1,000. That's ridiculous. That's a broad range right there. That's not like $100. That's $600 range.
Yeah, another thing that you got to remember is, remember when the PlayStation 3 first came out? Well, what the range? $800 when it first came out.
I think there was 2 models. One was 500, one was 600.
Oh, well, yeah. But yeah, $600. Do you think they might learn from that? And since not as many people bought the PlayStation 3 at first because of the expense, do you think they might lower it to, like you said, being around $450 or $500 right away, instead of like.
That would be, yeah, that would be smarter, I think. Like, why, if you want to get the casual gamers, that's what, you know, a lot of stuff wants to try and market, because, yeah, you know, they know the hardcore gamers, like myself, like you, and a couple other people, they know they're going to somehow dish out the money to buy these systems, because, hell, they've been buying the systems from inception of
Started, yeah.
Yeah, since Microsoft Xbox came out, you know. They will, I'd hope that they would keep prices low enough, but, you know, and close up shop and just become a developer, which, hey, Sega's probably still making they make games, so they're definitely making enough money being just developers, not console makers. But if they don't keep it low enough to get the casual gamer audience, then they could be shooting themselves in the foot. You know, like, it's tough to say, because when it comes to computers and video game systems, all these innards that you put in, like, yeah, I know they're getting them at wholesale prices and these prices, but it's still a cost to make these things. And you don't want them to lose millions and millions of dollars because, well, we want to get casual gamers, so we're going to come out with a new system and price it at $300. If they price them at $300, I bet they'll lose money. Both companies, Sony and Microsoft, because with what they want to put in these things,